Welcome to T-News 9 channel. We're reading from the novel, The Cases That Wait. This is chapter 5-6, The Mistake. The mistake isn't panic, it's confidence. He broke his own rule. That was how we knew. For weeks, he never initiated contact twice in the same area. Patterns protect people like him, you see. They create a rhythm, a predictability that law enforcement has to work hard to break. But then, one night, he did it. The same parking garage, just 2 hours apart. Two different women, but the same pause in his routine. He must have told himself it was safe. The security cameras seemed quiet, maybe broken. The exits were familiar. Confidence grows when the pressure feels invisible. It's a dangerous thing. The first woman he approached declined his advance. She was firm, uncomplicated, and he let her go. Too icily. In hindsight, that should have been the end of his night. But it wasn't. He stayed. Predators don't just linger unless they're compensating for something, trying to regain a sense of control they feel they've lost. The second woman stopped, but not because of him. She had dropped something, her keys. You know, it's often the smallest moment of chaos that invites a predator to exert control. He stepped forward. It was pure reflex, not a thought-out plan. "You dropped this," he said. It wasn't an offer to help. There was no safety implied. It was just an act of assistance. And that was the mistake. Offering help without permission. Pure instinct taking over. She thanked him. She even smiled. But that smile lasted less than a second. It was enough for him. He adjusted his stance. He wasn't blocking her path, but he was suggesting a direction, and the camera caught it all. The angle, the distance, the timing. 3 seconds where he completely forgot about the net he was operating in. That's all it took. He realized his error far too late. You can see it clear as day in the footage. There's a precise moment when his shoulders stiffen. He looks up, not at her, but at her reflection in the glass, and past that, at the camera. He immediately stepped back, trying to recover his composure. But recovery doesn't erase initiation. Once you cross that line, you don't get to redraw it. I watched the clip twice, then a third time, not for evidence, but for certainty. The mistake wasn't talking to her. It wasn't even helping. It was believing he could still choose when to stop. He couldn't. Not anymore. I shut the screen off. Tomorrow, the net would close. Not tighter, just lower. Chapter 5-7, The Closing In. Pressure doesn't chase. It removes options. We didn't knock on his door. Not yet. We shortened his days instead. Permits checked. Work hours questioned. His routine disrupted. Nothing illegal, nothing dramatic. Just enough friction to be felt. He noticed the very first morning. He started leaving home earlier and returning later. Control compensates with time. Cameras followed without following. Every place he chose had fewer exits than before. He started scanning faces in the crowd, not looking for victims. He was looking for witnesses. That shift matters. Predators hunt outward. Cornered men hunt mirrors. At the garage, he hesitated at the entrance. Then he just turned away. Too many eyes. At the mall, he circled the parking lot twice but didn't stop. The music, the light, the movement. It was all too much proof. We watched him settle on smaller spaces, narrow sidewalks, unmarked paths, places where refusal feels rude. That was the tell. He wasn't seeking opportunity anymore. He was seeking control. I let him see me once. Across a crosswalk. Brief, neutral. I wasn't a threat. Recognition flashed in his eyes. Then calculation. He didn't approach. He didn't flee. He adjusted. That adjustment was the cage tightening. By night, his phone pinged twice. Administrative calls, verification, routine stuff. He turned it face down on the table. People do that when they don't want the world interrupting their thinking. At 11:12 p.m., he stopped walking. Just stood there in the middle of the sidewalk, hands on his hips, breathing shallow. There was nowhere he wanted to go, nowhere he could go. That's closing in. It's not about walls. It's about realization. I wrote the time down in my notebook. Tomorrow wouldn't be about watching. It would be about naming. And naming ends games. He wasn't trapped. He understood he would be. Chapter 5-7, The Closing In. Pressure doesn't chase. It removes options. We didn't knock on his door. Not yet. Instead, we started shortening his days. We checked his permits. We questioned his work hours. We disrupted his routine. Nothing illegal, nothing dramatic. It was just enough friction to be felt, like a stone in his shoe. He noticed it the very first morning. He started leaving home earlier and returning later. That's a classic move. When you feel control slipping, you try to compensate with time. Our cameras followed him, without ever truly following. It was subtle. Every place he chose to go suddenly had fewer exits than before. That's when he started scanning faces in the crowd. He wasn't looking for victims anymore. He was looking for witnesses. That shift is what matters. Predators hunt outward, always looking for the next opportunity. But cornered men, they start hunting for mirrors, for reflections of their own paranoia. We saw it happen. At the parking garage, he hesitated at the entrance, and then just turned away. There were too many eyes. Later, at the mall, he circled the parking lot twice, but never stopped. The music, the bright lights, the constant movement of people lit was all too much proof. Too many potential witnesses. We watched him slowly settle on smaller, more confined spaces. Narrow sidewalks, unmarked paths. The kinds of places where refusal feels rude, where it's harder to say no. That was the real tell. He wasn't seeking opportunity anymore. He was seeking control, and he was losing it. I let him see me, just once. We were across a crosswalk from each other. The moment was brief. My expression was neutral. I made sure I wasn't a threat, but I saw a flash of recognition in his eyes. Then, calculation. He didn't approach me. He didn't flee either. He just adjusted. He straightened his jacket, changed his pace. That small adjustment was the cage tightening around him. By nightfall, his phone pinged twice. Just administrative notifications, a verification request, something routine. He turned the phone face down on the table. People do that when they don't want the world interrupting their thoughts, when they need to think hard. At 11:12 p.m., he stopped walking. In the middle of an empty street, he just stood there. He put his hands on his hips, his breathing shallow. There was nowhere he wanted to go, and nowhere he really could go. That, right there, is what closing in feels like. It's not about physical walls. It's about realization. I wrote the time down in my notebook. Tomorrow wouldn't be about watching anymore. It would be about naming. And naming someone ends the game. He wasn't trapped yet, but he finally understood that he would be. Chapter 59. The question. The right question doesn't demand an answer. It reveals one. I didn't open the file. I didn't look at the screen. I looked at him. Silence first. Silence makes questions heavier. He shifted once, then stillness, waiting to be guided. People like him prefer structure. They relax when you ask what. They panic when you ask why. I asked neither. Who do you think you are to them? I said. Not, what did you do? Not, did you? Who? He blinked once. That mattered. I don't understand, he said. That was expected. People stall when identity is threatened. You keep showing up at the same places, I continued. Different women, same timing. Still no accusation, just mirrors. I help, he said. Reflex. Immediate, too fast. Help again. Always help. I make things easier. There it was, this image. Not a predator, not a criminal, a solution. I nodded. Let him finish building it. They're stressed, he added. Alone. Someone should look out for them. Someone. Not I. People hide inside generalities when they don't want ownership. I leaned back, gave the answer room to echo. Do they ask you to? I said. That was the question. Small, sharp, no exit words, no story attached, just consent. He opened his mouth, closed it. That pause was everything. He searched for a version of himself where the answer stayed clean. It wasn't there. They don't always know they need it, he said finally. There it was. The fracture. Help without permission rebranded as insight. I wrote nothing. Didn't need to. He watched my pen anyway. People who believe in their narrative need confirmation it's working. I looked up, met his eyes. You just answered it, I said, not cruel. Final. He leaned back, exhaled slowly. Not relief. Adjustment. He hadn't confessed. He had defined himself. And definitions last longer than statements. He didn't say what he did. He said who he was. Chapter 60 of our novel, The Cases That Wait. It's called The Admission. Admissions aren't confessions. They're permissions spoken too late. He didn't look at me when he spoke. People don't need eye contact when they're finally talking to themselves. I never forced anyone, he said. It wasn't defensive. It was declarative. A boundary he'd practiced in his mind, over and over. I waited, he added, until they were unsure. That word again, unsure. He said it like it was a kindness. Like patience was his virtue. I let him continue. Admissions fall apart when they're interrupted. They could walk away, he said. Some did. He framed control as restraint. A man proud of the moments he simply stopped himself. And when they didn't, I asked. My voice was soft, not a challenge, a continuation of his own thoughts. He swallowed. Just once, I stayed, he said. Because leaving felt worse. Worse for whom? He didn't say he didn't have to. The answer hung in the air between us. I told myself I was helping, he continued, his voice steady, that if I didn't step in, no one would. Helping again, always helping. That single word had carried him this far, justifying everything. I slid the photo across the table. It wasn't of a victim. It was a place, a bus stop, empty under a grey sky. You stayed because you needed them to need you, I said. I wasn't accusing him. I was naming the truth. And that was the admission. He nodded, a barely perceptible movement. Yes, he said. Just one syllable. Not filled with regret, but with recognition. He wasn't confessing to actions. He was acknowledging a deep, personal dependency. Control doesn't always crave harm. Sometimes, it just craves relevance. I didn't think it made me dangerous, he said quietly. I thought it made me necessary. Silence settled in the room. Thick, honest, I closed the folder. Slow, careful. The sound of the cover shutting mattered. It was a punctuation mark. The admission wasn't about guilt. It was about truth becoming so heavy it was finally unavoidable. Once someone admits why they act, what they did stops being deniable. He didn't admit to a crime. He admitted to a need. Thank you for tuning in to T News 9. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more chapters.